Stoicism teaches us that the most important battle we will ever fight is not against others, but within ourselves. In a world that constantly compares, competes, and distracts, it is easy to lose sight of what truly matters: our own growth. To focus on yourself until you win means cultivating the discipline to ignore the noise and pay attention to what you can control. The Stoics believed that external events are beyond our control, but our responses, actions, and mindset are entirely ours to govern. When you direct your energy toward self-improvement instead of wasting it on jealousy, comparison, or unnecessary conflicts, you align with the very essence of Stoicism. Winning, in this sense, does not mean defeating others. It means overcoming your weaker self, breaking destructive patterns, and emerging stronger each day. By focusing on your character, your habits, and your choices, you prepare yourself for challenges and build resilience. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Focusing on yourself is not selfish. It is the foundation for real strength. Only when you master yourself can you face the world with courage and wisdom. "Focus on you until you win" is not simply a motivational phrase. It is a lifestyle that aligns deeply with Stoic philosophy. To the Stoics, life was not about chasing glory, riches, or recognition, but about striving for excellence of character. They urged us to avoid distraction, especially from the opinions of others. Epictetus reminded his students not to let their happiness depend on external approval. This teaching applies today more than ever. If you measure success through likes, followers, or material validation, you are building a fragile life. But if you focus on your inner discipline, skills, and virtues, no setback can destroy you. Winning in Stoicism means victory over your impulses, silencing doubt, controlling anger, and resisting fear. Every morning, remind yourself that your competition is not the world outside, but the tendencies within that hold you back: laziness, procrastination, and distraction. When you put your energy into bettering yourself day by day, the external victories, career success, financial growth, personal achievements will follow naturally. The Stoic way is to endure, to persist, and to improve regardless of what others are doing. Your path is yours alone. Therefore, your focus must remain unshakably on yourself until you achieve mastery. To focus on yourself until you win requires patience, and patience is a core Stoic virtue. We live in an age of instant gratification where people want quick results without effort. But the Stoics taught endurance, reminding us that great things take time. Just as the strongest trees grow slowly, bending against countless storms, your strength will emerge only through consistent effort. Winning does not mean a single achievement. It is a continuous process of self-discipline. Seneca once wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." By focusing on trivial matters, gossip, and external approval, people waste the most precious resource: time. To focus on yourself is to guard your time fiercely, dedicating it to what nourishes your mind, body, and spirit. That might mean studying when others are distracted, training when others are resting, or reflecting when others are complaining. This path is not glamorous, but it is meaningful. Every small victory over yourself is a step closer to greatness. If you can learn to stay the course, to focus despite obstacles, and to persist despite delays, you are already winning in the Stoic sense. In the Stoic worldview, the idea of winning is not defined by wealth or applause, but by self-mastery. Imagine a person who achieves fame yet is enslaved by anger, greed, or fear. Such a person has not truly won. By contrast, the individual who lives with discipline, peace of mind, and moral strength is victorious, even if unnoticed by the world. To focus on yourself until you win means striving to embody this higher standard of success. It is choosing to confront your weaknesses instead of projecting blame onto others. It is choosing discipline over comfort, purpose over distraction. Marcus Aurelius urged himself daily to act according to reason, not emotion, reminding himself that external criticism should never derail his pursuit of virtue. Modern life tests this principle constantly. People will doubt you, criticize you, and even mock your focus. But the Stoic answer is simple. Stay unmoved, like a rock against the crashing waves. Winning is not about proving them wrong. It is about proving yourself right. The real victory is quiet, the moment you realize you no longer need validation, because you have built your own foundation of strength. One of the greatest obstacles to focusing on yourself is comparison. We live surrounded by others' highlight reels, social media showcasing success, wealth, and beauty, while we wrestle with our unseen struggles. The Stoics warned against this trap centuries ago. Epictetus advised, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. This wisdom teaches us that focusing on your path means ignoring the illusions of others' progress. What looks like winning for them might not even matter for you. To compare is to waste energy on what you cannot control. Instead, the Stoic approach is radical self-honesty. Am I better today than I was yesterday? Did I act with integrity? Did I train my mind to remain calm under pressure? These are the questions of true victory. By shifting your focus inward, you reduce envy, eliminate distraction, and free yourself to grow in alignment with your values. The race is not against them. It is against your former self. And when you consistently choose progress over comparison, resilience over weakness, and virtue over vanity, you are embodying Stoic wisdom. That is how focusing on yourself ultimately leads to real, lasting victory. Focusing on yourself until you win means cultivating inner strength so that setbacks do not break you. Life is full of obstacles, and the Stoics understood this better than anyone. They viewed challenges not as curses, but as opportunities to practice resilience. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is the Stoic formula for winning. Use adversity as fuel. Instead of wasting energy complaining about what went wrong, channel it into self-improvement. Every rejection can teach patience. Every failure can sharpen discipline, and every insult can build emotional control. When you focus on these lessons instead of resenting the pain, you transform hardship into growth. Winning, therefore, is not about avoiding problems, but about rising above them. To focus on yourself until you win means learning to stand firm, unshaken by external storms. The strength you build through trials will outlast any temporary defeat. Life will test you repeatedly, but each test is another chance to practice Stoic virtue. And that is the path to true victory. Discipline is the bridge between focusing on yourself and eventually winning. Without discipline, your focus will scatter and your goals will fade. The Stoics placed immense value on daily habits, recognizing that greatness is not achieved through occasional bursts of effort, but through consistent practice. Seneca advised us to measure our lives not by how long we live, but by how well we use our time. When you commit to daily routines, whether reading, journaling, training, or reflecting, you build an unshakable foundation. Discipline transforms abstract goals into concrete achievements. It keeps you steady when motivation fades and strengthens you against distractions. In modern life, discipline means saying no to instant pleasures so you can say yes to long-term fulfillment. It is choosing to work on your craft when others waste time, to invest in your health while others indulge in excess. Winning requires patience and repetition, and discipline ensures that your focus is not temporary but enduring. To live stoically is to value discipline above fleeting desire, because discipline guarantees that progress is always being made, no matter how small. Another Stoic lesson in focusing on yourself is mastering your emotions. Many people lose not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they allow anger, fear, or envy to control them. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When you focus on yourself, you train your mind to respond with wisdom instead of impulse. Winning is impossible if every setback throws you into despair or every insult provokes rage. The Stoics practiced emotional control by reminding themselves that external events are neutral. It is their judgment that makes them good or bad. If someone criticizes you, it is not the insult but your reaction that harms you. If a situation goes against your plan, it is not fate that defeats you, but your refusal to adapt. By mastering your emotions, you become untouchable. To focus on yourself until you win means learning calmness in chaos, patience in difficulty, and humility in success. These qualities do not just make you strong, they make you unbreakable. To stay focused on yourself requires clarity of purpose. Without a clear vision, your energy will scatter and your efforts will weaken. The Stoics believed that life should be guided by reason, with each action aligned to a higher purpose. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself to act in accordance with nature and virtue, not to drift aimlessly. In modern terms, this means setting intentional goals and living by principles that matter to you. Ask yourself, what do I truly value? What kind of person do I want to become? Once you identify this, your focus sharpens because you are no longer distracted by meaningless pursuits. Purpose turns discipline into joy because you understand why the struggle matters. Winning, then, is not about reaching a random finish line, but about fulfilling your reason for being. When you focus on yourself with purpose, each day becomes meaningful, and each step, no matter how small, brings you closer to your true victory. Focusing on yourself until you win also means accepting full responsibility for your life. The Stoics rejected the idea of blaming fate, luck, or others for their struggles. Instead, they believed in radical ownership of one's choices. Seneca wrote, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." This wisdom teaches us that waiting for perfect circumstances is an excuse for inaction. If you want to win, focus not on what the world owes you, but on what you can control and contribute. Taking responsibility empowers you because it puts your success in your own hands. Complaining gives away your power, but accountability makes you stronger. Even when events are unfair, your response is still your choice. To focus on yourself until you win means no longer waiting for external rescue or blaming external injustice. It means stepping into full control of your mindset, your effort, and your path. The moment you take ownership is the moment you begin to win. Focusing on yourself until you win requires cultivating resilience, the ability to keep moving forward no matter how many times you fall. The Stoics taught that resilience is not about avoiding suffering, but about enduring it with strength and dignity. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." This means that hardship does not defeat you, your interpretation of it does. When you focus on yourself, you learn to reshape the way you view challenges. Instead of asking, "Why me?" ask, "How can this make me stronger?" Each trial becomes training. Resilience is built through repetition. Getting back up every time life knocks you down. You may not control the blows, but you control your response. And when your focus remains on growth, each setback simply becomes another stepping stone to victory. Winning is not about never falling. It is about never staying down. Another essential part of focusing on yourself is detachment from external validation. The Stoics consistently warned against becoming slaves to public opinion. Epictetus advised, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." This lesson is hard in today's age of social media, where likes and comments dictate people's sense of worth. But the Stoics remind us that true confidence comes from within. To focus on yourself until you win means measuring success not by applause, but by progress. It means working in silence, training when nobody is watching, and growing when no one is clapping. External validation is fleeting. One moment people praise you, the next they criticize. If your self-worth depends on their voices, you will never be stable. The Stoic way is to detach from approval and instead measure yourself by your virtues, discipline, and consistency. Winning, in this context, means becoming unshakable, whether you are celebrated or ignored. Focusing on yourself also demands the courage to embrace solitude. Many fear being alone, but the Stoics understood solitude as an opportunity to reconnect with the self. Seneca once wrote that no person is free who is a slave to the crowd. When you are always surrounded by noise, distractions, and opinions, you lose clarity of thought. Solitude allows you to reflect, to journal, to strengthen your inner dialogue. It is in these quiet moments that you identify your weaknesses, recognize your strengths, and refine your values. To focus on yourself until you win means not being afraid to step away from the crowd to sharpen your character. Great progress often requires periods of isolation where your attention is not scattered by the demands of others. Then is born in silence. When you are strong enough to stand alone, disciplined enough to grow in solitude, and wise enough to use that solitude as fuel for your journey. A key Stoic principle that supports focusing on yourself is the distinction between what is in your control and what is not. Epictetus built his entire philosophy on this concept. He taught that peace comes when you stop wasting energy on things outside your control, such as other people's opinions, external events, or random misfortunes. To focus on yourself until you win means directing all your effort only toward what you can influence: your thoughts, your actions, your habits. This sharpens your focus like a blade. Instead of being scattered across endless frustrations, your mind becomes disciplined and precise. Imagine the strength of someone who does not flinch when insulted, who does not despair when plans collapse, because they know these are beyond their control. That is true victory. By mastering this Stoic discipline, you conserve energy, build consistency, and make steady progress. Winning is achieved not by controlling the world, but by mastering yourself within it. Finally, focusing on yourself until you win means redefining what winning truly is. For many, winning is external: money, recognition, or power. But the Stoics remind us that these are temporary and fragile. The only real victory is inner freedom, the ability to remain calm, virtuous, and strong no matter what happens outside. Marcus Aurelius, despite being Emperor of Rome, did not consider himself successful because of his power, but because of his ability to live according to reason and virtue. Winning, then, is not about conquering others, but conquering yourself. When you can control your desires, when you can remain steady in hardship, when you can live with integrity even when no one is watching. That is the ultimate Stoic triumph. to focus on yourself until you win is to pursue this inner mastery, knowing that external victories may fade, but self-mastery lasts forever. To focus on yourself until you win is to treat every day as training for the mind and soul. The Stoics believed that philosophy was not merely theory, but a daily practice. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself each morning to expect difficulties, selfish people, arrogant people, dishonest people, and to prepare his mind to respond with reason and calmness. This is how you win, by being prepared before the challenge arrives. When you focus on yourself, you make every day an exercise in discipline, reflection, and endurance. Just as athletes train their bodies, the Stoics trained their minds. Every insult becomes a chance to practice patience, every failure a chance to practice resilience, every temptation a chance to practice self-control. Over time, this consistent training transforms you into a person who is not shaken by fortune's changes. Winning is not an accident. It is the natural result of daily, disciplined practice rooted in self-mastery. Another aspect of focusing on yourself is practicing gratitude, even in struggle. Stoics believed gratitude was a weapon against despair and envy. Seneca wrote that a wise person never complains, because they see every situation as a chance to grow. When you focus on what you already have, your abilities, your opportunities, your resilience, you shift from a mindset of lack to one of abundance. Gratitude does not mean ignoring challenges, it means facing them with perspective. A Stoic sees hardship as a teacher and blessings as tools for growth. By focusing on yourself with gratitude, you eliminate jealousy of others, because you recognize that your path is unique and valuable. Winning, then, is not about having more than others. It is about making the most of what you have and who you are. Gratitude sharpens your focus inward, preventing distractions from envy and complaint. In this way, gratitude becomes part of the Stoic path to victory. Focusing on yourself until you win also requires the courage to embrace discomfort. Stoics did not seek comfort but strength. They practiced voluntary hardship, sleeping on the floor, eating plain food, exposing themselves to cold, to train their minds against weakness. Epictetus warned that luxury softens the spirit, while struggle strengthens it. In modern life, this means resisting the temptation of constant ease and comfort. Growth happens outside the comfort zone, whether in pushing your body through training, pushing your mind through study, or pushing your spirit through discipline. When you focus on yourself, you willingly choose challenges instead of running from them. Each act of embracing discomfort sharpens your resilience and hardens your will. Winning is not about living without struggle. It is about being so prepared for struggle that nothing can defeat you. The Stoics teach that those who master discomfort master life, because they are never controlled by fear of pain or hardship. Focusing on yourself also means investing in wisdom. For the Stoics, wisdom was the highest virtue, the ability to see the world clearly and act in harmony with reason. Marcus Aurelius spent his life journaling, reflecting, and studying, even while leading an empire. This shows us that no matter how high we rise, we must remain students. To focus on yourself until you win means feeding your mind with philosophy, reflection, and knowledge that makes you stronger. It means surrounding yourself with ideas that sharpen your character instead of dulling it. In a world of endless distractions, wisdom allows you to focus on what truly matters. When you act with wisdom, you make better choices, avoid unnecessary suffering, and stay aligned with your values. Winning, then, is not just reaching success, but living a life guided by wisdom, so that success is meaningful, stable, and virtuous. Without wisdom, victory is empty. With wisdom, victory is eternal. Ultimately, to focus on you until you win is to dedicate your life to the Stoic path of self-mastery. The true battle is never against others, but against your own impulses, fears, and weaknesses. Winning does not come in a single moment. It is the result of years of persistence, patience, and discipline. The Stoics remind us that external victories are fleeting, but the person you become in the process is permanent. When you focus inward, you build strength that no one can take away. You become calm in chaos, steady in hardship, humble in success, and unshakable in failure. That is real victory. Stoicism teaches us that the highest reward is not fame, wealth, or power, but freedom. Freedom from fear, from envy, from dependence on others. By focusing on yourself, by training your mind and mastering your character, you claim this freedom. And once you possess it, you have already won.